everybody. This is Martin John, and I am here to present the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written in the 6th century BC, and it's filled with all sorts of enigmatic wisdom and not really advice, but new ways, new perspectives to approach living a reasonable life. When I talk about living a reasonable life, I really just mean living a life in which we're not asking other things to change or be anything special for us. We allow them to be what they are, and we go on being what we are. And when we do that, it's reasonable. Because it wouldn't be reasonable for me to ask you to be something other than you are. And just like it wouldn't be reasonable to ask me to be something other than I am. We get into this idea that, people need to treat us a specific way. And if we want to not be treated a certain way, we can tell people. But if they're not willing to treat us in the way that we want to be treated, we have to do something about that. That doesn't mean trying to change them. It means loving them for who they are and maybe just simply loving them from a distance. There's no reason we have to go about asking people to change for us. One of the biggest things I see in life is we get into these relationships, not necessarily romantic or anything, relationships with other things, whether it's, the weather or relationships with people, or whether it's relationships with politics or relationships with anything. And we expect those things to be the same for our entire life, or we expect them to change. we have expectations in one way or another, right? We have expectations for some things to change, like, oh, I'm going to marry this person and they're going to change. and they don't. Or we're going to, just dislike certain kinds of weather or certain kinds of jobs or certain kinds of things. And in that, we just create turmoil in our own lives because we can't change what those things are. And if they're here doing what they do, then we have to be able to accept them for what they are and what they do. Pardon me, I'm sipping coffee. Yesterday, too much of my kombucha came up. I got a message from Mark. He thought it was funny when I said my kombucha came up. But so everybody, how are you doing? We're going into the weekend. Seeing as this show doesn't get promoted as much anymore, I'll probably skip the weekends just to keep it rare and keep you wanting to come back. You can always message me on the app if you wanted to connect, and I'm always open to connecting. But we'll keep it to the weekends, I'm guessing. Julie, how are you doing today, dear?
Doing all right, Martin John.
Just all right, or all right?
All right, like far out. Doing all right, yeah.
Far out.
I am, you're educating me beautifully just by being here.
Oh.
I was thinking about this yesterday. This isn't to big you up or anything, so don't take it as...
Well, it won't, so...
Right,
it's all stupid,
Yeah. But over the 4 years that you've been doing this, and I consider the amount of change that you've been able to kind of allow me to be autonomic about, right? So you've allowed me to find my own self-efficacy by having conversation regularly on here, which is called catalytic change. That's great for me. You don't give a crap. We've right. discovered that. But in fact, that's a bit of a lie because we get on really well. But
absolutely.
When I see that quality that I have viewed across the board with this Tao of the Day, for me, it speaks volumes about wellness, which is, for me, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the very beginning of caring for yourself. In other words, caring for your health, your fitness, your food, and all of these other things. When you consider your integration in the world that we're living in the Tao, that's the start of it. And I have witnessed massive changes within people who've discovered that inside of them. I remember you talking to Max yesterday when you said, close your eyes, that is you, that's the real. And I've done that as well. 3 or 4 years ago now, I remember having a conversation with you, and I did connect with you outside of the slot that you do here. I did connect with you, and we had a session, and I felt absolutely beaten up after it, but it was great. It was great because I had to let that old part of me die to rebirth, right? Mm-hmm. And it was catalytic change that you can actually, if I hadn't deleted my previous account of many, many followers, you'd be able to see that change. But that was part of change as well. It was coming out from under the influence of all things, right? And that was kind of interesting. And you've again brought that up to me to experience that again for the second time. It's very, very interesting. But I would say, after saying all that, I will pick a number.
It's
the quality of it, Martin, John, far outweighs the numbers, is what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell 15 people that can hear me, right? That the quality of it far outweighs the numbers. Do not be swayed or influenced by numbers.
No,
it's
not. So it's not so much that I'm being influenced by numbers, but I'm being influenced by, it's easy for me to give when there is reciprocation.
Yes.
When there's something reciprocal. And all too often, when I do Tao of the Day, it is one way. It's me giving.
Yeah.
So for Noom to have supported me, there was reciprocation. And I didn't have to require anything from anybody else. Because I was being provided for in one way or another.
Yeah.
And the numbers don't matter to me as much as, well, I have to be able to get clients. I have to be able to and to some extent. And so it's not so much the numbers of people that listen to me, because at this point the people that are listening want to listen.
Yeah.
And because they want to listen, I feel better that the people that are here are listening for longer periods of time and it's part of their routine. Because I love you guys. Like you're the ones that I want to. I'm not necessarily interested in people that are quality, always quality. And I'm not interested, but it is nice to be recognized for what you do.
Yes.
And it is nice to and when a company's going to be like, we're going to support you in doing your show, that brings the reciprocity to level. And it's like I can give without being depleted.
Yeah.
However, giving while being depleted or not being supported in, it's not like you guys don't give me love. Of course you give me love, and that's great. But, there's I'm giving more than I'm giving love and Tao, so there is, and it isn't like bitterness or anything. Like I'm just like I love doing this, and I'm going to keep doing it. And
it's that thing called change. Everything is in consistent change.
And when it's time for me to stop, I'll stop. I'm not gonna shed a tear over it.
Not flogging a dead horse, are you?
And And like I got 5 years or almost 5 years of episodes that people can listen to and other things like that. So I'm not feeling like but when it comes to I want to make sure that I have good boundaries so I don't get burned out and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like I might want to do it over the weekend, but I also have to recognize that it takes things. It might not feel that way. I might feel filled up after I do a episode, but that fullness is still a feeling, and
there's an energy to it,
right?
John. Yeah, right. That energy is passed. It's an energy that you are passing to your guests as they come on. It's like passing a baton of strength or ability to become aware.
And it's a beautiful, I love this show, and I've been doing Tao of the Day for over 15 years in some form, usually text, but now that it's audio, and they're I love this. Bring one person up, have an intimate conversation with somebody about what's going on. I can't tell you how many people have come up and been just vulnerable. And that's in front of, tens of possibly hundreds of people in the past, and that's beautiful. And then people can see growth. I think, if you've watched for a while, you've seen the growth of you've seen the growth of Melissa, and you've seen the growth of Susan, and you've seen the growth of Max, and you've seen the growth. We're on this journey together.
Yeah. Exactly. And from that growth comes the other things that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. So from that growth of peaceful mind comes the attention of, I'm going to start looking after my body, because now I've felt value inside.
Right.
And now I'm going to start looking after my nutrition, because I realize that the body that I'm in, I need to take care of it. And that all comes from the start point of coming on here and having a conversation and just being able to see things from another kind of viewpoint, or from a wider perspective, if you like.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you now, Martin John, I really do appreciate you. And I'm going to tell everyone I know.
Well, and that's
here.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't mind not being. There was compensation and other things like that kind of, and that's all fine. I'm covered. I didn't shed a tear over it. I was just
you were blessed to have it in the first.
Absolutely.
Some of us did not.
I know it. And I'm not concerned about it, but I am. But I do mention it because it's because of all of this, and I do want people that benefit from it, and that to be able to go to my links in my profile and buy me a coffee. So there is a link there where people can just be like, hey, I've had value for this.
And you are allowing people to support you back.
Right.
That's
absolutely. I'm open to receive, and if I can receive.
We don't eat for free, Martin.
That's
John.
right.
It's just fact of life.
Especially when there's snow on the ground. But there are times where I pick up those dandelions and I munch, and that's
wonderful. I love it.
That's beautiful.
I love it. But
so let's pick a number.
Zip that one out there.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you guys that support me and are out here loving on me and stuff, because my life is easy and I don't.
John. We're not living on you, love. We're living on what you do.
Well, I always look at it as you by loving yourself, that's coming back to me, and that's really what I want to see, is that all of you just love yourself to that degree.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a number?
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to go today with number 45.
45.
Wow, that popped out.
Yeah. Beware of words with meaning.
Yeah.
And this is beautiful because as it starts, to not define your accomplishments, you will always have patience to spare.
Yay!
To not acknowledge your fullness, you will always have space to spare.
Yes.
When we define something as straight, we see how crooked it is. When we define something as skilled, as someone as skilled, we focus on how clumsy they are. Mm-hmm. When we call a speech eloquent, we notice the stammering therein. The master needn't define things. What they are will arise naturally. By removing herself and her need to know, she can see Tao express itself fully.
Yeah.
And, everything that we're talking about revolves around that, right? This idea of like defining yourself by your accomplishments, like, oh, I did this. And even for me, it's just like, oh, Noom picked me because says, shut up. It's all stupid. And it gets taken just as fucking quickly,
Yes. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? But also in that, looking at that Tao the way that you've just described is, okay, I had this, I've not got this. Look at what I've learned from that.
Yeah.
And now I can forget it all. Yeah. It's fine. I'm not going to carry that with me. I'm not carrying this knowledge with me continually, because then it kind of impacts everything that you see and do. It's just play, Martin John. That's right. Exactly what it is. It's just playing with what's presented with you. You don't need to know about it. You don't need to be the expert with an identity of it. It's just play.
Right.
But then
life is like, that's the thing. Life is a gift. It's a toy. Yeah. It's like a toy that you received, right? Like this is for you to play with. This is for you. Now you can play with it and manipulate other people, and you can play with it, and you can like have a wake of torrential actions, or you can play with it and just have fun, and have everybody else have fun too. Remember that we all had that friend, that just made everybody when everybody was having fun.
Yeah.
When the bully wasn't there, when the person that we wanted to be like wasn't picking on our neighbor. It's like that was the best, when everybody was just having the best time. I mean, that changed quickly, but there were those moments that everybody was just playing.
Mm.
And you didn't have to be playing anybody else's rules. You just played. And that's what was
just fun. Fitted together so beautifully. It just fits together. Everyone is being who they are. And there's no gauge there, which is what I really like. I think when that disappears, when that kind of judgment disappears, that's when you really get to enjoy the whole thing. There's no judgment. Yeah. It's just an observation.
Yeah, and you're having fun with it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Martin John. You're amazing.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you coming up. We'll talk again soon. Hull are slowly doing better. We got Bristol this weekend. We'll see at Bristol at home in Bristol. We'll see how that all goes. Susan, how are you, my dear? I can't hear you. Are you with me? You with me? Oh. Sometimes things bug out, and you have to go out and come back in. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know what's really... I mean, I'm not on this app as much. I mean, I guess I'm on it every day, but... Susan, you with me?
Hello.
No audio. There you are. There you are. I got you now. How are you, dear?
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Life is easy. Yeah.
Yeah, life is easy, isn't it?
Just take it as it comes, and like my big. About a week and a half ago, I started a daily planner. Last week, I was like, I need a little something to kind of because I just wasn't paying attention as much, in one way or another. And so I was like, I'm going to start a planner. I'm going to start a planner to make sure that I keep everything in my view, keep all the things that I got to do. Cause, I had a lot of things going on, like little things, but they weren't big things. Like I was working on the mosaic that ended. And now I was like, this week I rewired my entire kitchen this past week,
good for you.
But that had to get done, and like how to approach that, how to, I needed some organization in my thoughts. And so I started that.
Did you get rid of some wires?
Quite a bit, yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, there was I had to run. I had to run all new conduit, and I had to run because all of this conduit will eventually get removed because it's literally, this house was built in pieces, and some of the pieces were built well, and some of the pieces were not built well, and they're kind of stacked on top of each other, and so getting down to the root and so. I guess I've only been doing my Panda Planner for a week, and it was a great time to start. I started my Panda Planner, and then, Noom pulled their support for this show, and didn't really faze me at all. Like, it did faze me enough to be like, okay, well, I got to set something up so I can, so I can adjust for that. But other than that, like, it was really like, this is what the Tao means when it says, everything is accomplished regardless.
Yes.
You set yourself up. And when I listen to myself and I say, I'm going to start a planner. I don't have anything that I'm going to be planning over the next 3 months, which is how long the planner is. But I was like, but it's time. And then all of this happened and everything worked out beautifully. Like I got opportunities still that I might not have been able to do if I was, kind of forced to do something because of that relationship or whatever. So life is easy.
Life is easy, and life is always changing. That's the interesting part.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've just been floating along. I overdid it all through the last couple months. I was volunteering way too much, and I exhausted myself, and I got sick, and blah, blah, blah. So I've just kind of been hanging on, which is not like me. I'm usually really upbeat and out there and doing shit. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. I know Mercury is going into retrograde on the 15th. I know that. So that could be, but I just thought I'd pop in here and maybe pick a number and see what's going on with me.
Yeah, let's take a breath before we go into that.
That would be good.
Yeah, just kind of reset. Because when we do these, we want to have a baseline. So we want to have a baseline before we pick another. And I don't know if you can feel this, but I feel like there is just at the base of the neck in your back, there's a little tension there.
Oh boy.
I want you to release those shoulders.
Okay.
Should breathe into that really quick and then go ahead and pick a number.
28.
28. Oh, 28. Knowing there's depth in the shallow.
Ah.
There's this idea that, we can, when you connect, when you do a lot, when you overextend yourself. And then on the other side of that, there's that stillness. One, we can look at the verse of stillness and integration, like the idea of, you need to be still in order to let yourself mature. And that this is like sometimes, like if you don't make time for your wellness, you're forced to make time with your illness. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing. So that was, so that's one thing. So, I'm going to go ahead and read 28. It's longer, but knowing there's depth in the shallow. Know the world through the masculine. but access your power through the feminine. In this way, you will be open to receive. If you can receive, your actions will support. They will never be forced, and you will be innocent. Know the world through the light, but connect to it within the dark. In this way, you will be open to the truth. If you can see truth, manifestation will not fool you. It will fall away, and nothing will elude you. Know the world through the particular, but know there is no particular here. In this way, you will accept all things. If you can accept all things, you will be a beacon that will guide you and all beings back to source. Mm-hmm. The manifestation was formed from the void. The master knows the manifestation, yet stays focused on the void within it. That is how she uses all things.
Okay. Help me out here, Martin John.
Okay. Well, let's just start looking at it line by line. It's longer.
It's okay.
But know the world through the masculine, yet access your power through the feminine. You have accessed so much of your power in your life through the masculine.
Correct.
Access your power through the feminine really means like we've said over and over, let things be. Let things be as they are. And I know you've overextended yourself, and you're still now because you were forced to be still through your sickness and other things like that. Are you able, what are you open to receiving right now? Because the next line is, in this way, you will be open to receive.
Inspiration for something new in my life. I'm open for that right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your volunteering, my guess, was a way for you to kind of fill time in the manifestation,
right,
in the world,
right,
so that you can find that, or you can invite that in through these interactions you have, right? With, I know with the candy, right? Like you had really beautiful interactions over the holiday and all of that with you like when I remember there was a time when you had to volunteer when something came up and you were like stressed about something, but then you like let it go, and then you went out and had a gret day and everything turned out to be okay. Yeah. Like things like
remember. That. Uh-huh.
Right. So, so if then the line is, if you can receive, your actions will support. They will be forced and they will never be forced and you will be innocent. This is really talking about like inspired actions, and you were inspired through your illness to stay home.
Yeah. Forced.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Now, when this whole verse really says, look, the world around you isn't the thing that is true. It keeps saying, know the world around you, but connect to it within the silence. Connect to it within the stillness. In this way, you will be open to truth, right? You know the world through the light, yet connect to it within the dark. So, where are you stressing out these days?
Well, I just stressed out because I was so involved in the manifestation. And not only was I double volunteering, I had the film festival that I was working at. So, what I did was just shut down. Literally, I just shut down and stopped doing stuff. I'm scheduled to start volunteering again on the 4th for Easter, but that's fine because I'm adjusting. I'm flowing through whatever's happening now. I'm kind of holding on and seeing what's going to come, seeing what's going to happen.
this is like all of the experience that you're having right now, is what's happening, right? Like that is the manifestation.
Right.
That is teaching you something. Like, right.
Absolutely.
The experience of being uncomfortable in this state of, like, I don't know if you're uncomfortable, but it sounds like there's like, look, I will volunteer again in a month, but I need something now, but I don't want it to take from me.
Right.
So there's a, we could call it a trigger. I mean, maybe it's a light trigger that you don't have something that's like giving you deep, like, appreciation. You're giving that out. Not that you need it from outside of yourself, but it's like, it's always great. And I don't know if I'm hearing this correctly, but it's always great to like be able to give. But eventually, and that's what I was talking about earlier, you need a boundary, because it's like, I'm not getting, like, I'm tired.
I get depleted.
Yeah. And it's like, and even when you just said that, like, you can sense just the tar that you're trudging through in that. You know what I mean? Does that feel right? Like, it's just,
you got
like,
it.
You're just trudging through this heaviness of, like, even like, and you sit, even your coffee in the morning is like, oh, I have to make it.
No, I
like,
get so upset when the pot's empty.
You know what I mean? Like, so see, here's all of these things where it's like, so this is the ebb and flow that we use to grow. Okay. So you had a big sort, I mean, if we can call this, like, it was, like, if we were to diagnose something, we could go manic, depressive, whatever, but don't get caught up in that, because, like, what it is, this is the flow of action and integration. This is a time where you're integrating. The thing is you probably overdid it. And you feel like, well, if I want someone to do this for me. I want someone to come and, like, I want someone to volunteer to be my buddy. I want someone to volunteer to love me. I want someone to do these things, because you're doing them for so many other organizations. So that shows that you have, you value that kind of interaction.
Right. Exactly. I was thinking, I woke up the other morning or yesterday, and I thought, I just wish somebody would send me flowers. Out of nowhere. It just came out. But you're right. I'm looking
that's because that's all it would take.
Yeah, it would make my day. It would be
that's all it would take.
I might have to go out and buy myself flowers.
Literally, that is all it would take, and you should. You absolutely should buy yourself flowers. Like, yeah, I did an episode. I did an episode of my web series, and if you drop out, please, you can come back. I did an episode of my web series back in the day where the owner of this cultural center, like, had herself flowers delivered to herself. And when I was, partnering with a florist to supply the flowers, they were like, you'd be surprised at how many people buy flowers for themselves.
Really?
Yeah.
That might be an idea for me, for sure.
And then it's like, then you have flowers at home. And it's not, and they come from a florist. It's better than picking them up at the grocery store. Come back up if you have the time, of course. But yeah, and I think that's what this is. I think that's what this verse is talking about. Know the world through the particular, but no, there is no particular here, right? In this way, you will accept all things. There's no particular. There isn't someone not sending you flowers. Because that person that would send you flowers is you anyway.
Right.
even if it was someone else. In this way, you will accept all things, and you can accept the fact that you can buy yourself flowers, and you can love yourself this way. I tell you, like, I understand I do all of this, and I just want someone to see me. Like, yes, people can appreciate it, and they can have a volunteer luncheon where but I want you to see me.
I didn't even go.
To what?
The volunteer luncheon.
I didn't know that there was one, but
no, I skipped it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Why? Because, like, that's the thing. I want to be celebrated. I want to be loved. I want this. And that may be, like, and you know, you might want to consider that. Like, you know, how many times do you want a thing and then don't accept it? Like, I want to be appreciated, but then I'm not going to go to the luncheon.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, and then you get to be the victim, right? You get to sit at home and be like, I want someone to sell me flowers. It's like, motherfucker, like, made you lunch. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. There might have been flowers there. I don't know. But that's the... But that's, you know, this is why these kind of moments happen, because they frustrate us. They make us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And if we're uncomfortable, we are not aligned somewhere. So what's making us uncomfortable? What's making us uncomfortable is that we're not being supported. Maybe by volunteering, you're expecting the volunteering to be the thing that gives it to you. But it's right. Yeah. But it's you that is ultimately fulfilled. It's you that is fulfilling you. It has nothing to do with the volunteering. It has nothing to do with the doing.
With
right?
The outside. Right.
And that's what this is saying. Know the world through the light, but connect to it within the dark. The light is your volunteering, but you need to connect with the darkness within you. And that's not bad darkness. That's just like the stillness, that moment of closing your eyes. And this way you will be open to the truth. The truth is you're volunteering, and who you volunteer with and all those things, as I've said before, it's all stupid. You love it. You love it. And that's why you do it. And if you're doing it and you're depleting yourself, well, then maybe you don't love it as much as you think you do.
Right. Or I need just step away from it. I need to just step away from it.
Who cares?
Do something else. Yeah.
Right.
It's stupid.
That's why I opened up my planner, because I was like, I'm being depleted somewhere. I'm not, because I'm uncomfortable. And I'm going to go ahead and start my planner so that I can pay attention, and then I can move my energy to a place that it better suits me at this time. So I picked up crocheting.
I crochet.
You know, yeah. So I'm in the middle of making making my first blanket. I made 2 hats. I'm making a blanket.
Good for you, Martin John.
Yeah. And I just picked it up last week. And so like, it's I'm making this blanket. It's wonderful. Well, in the beginning I was very tense because my shoulders were really tense when I was doing it. So I'm doing that just to kind of have time. I'm rewiring my kitchen. I'm doing this blanket. I'm learning Spanish. I'm doing all these things, and who knows where it's going to end up? Who knows, how it's all going to go? But I'm trying to keep myself away from like that uncomfortableness, while allowing myself to be still.
Right.
I'm practicing when I'm crocheting to just do it in silence.
Right.
Because when I do it in silence, I can hear my thoughts, I can hear my voice, and hopefully I'll get to a point where I won't need the crocheting. I'll just be able to sit literally for an hour, because I can sit for an hour and crochet and not bat an eye in terms of like, that. But then can I meditate without crocheting in the same thing? Yeah. And it's like, I don't mind doing the action, but it's like, that is the goal, to not question. Oh, I can listen to a book on tape. I can put on a video. I can do that. It's like, just crochet, like, and then it becomes just sit.
Just be quiet.
Yeah. And I can do that, but but for the last couple of weeks, it's just been a little bit more difficult. So I was just like, okay, well, let me pick something up. Let me learn something new, and let me make sure that I'm keeping up on all the things that I know and I do and what have you. And we'll see where it takes me. Nothing I do nothing that I've ever done in my life has been has been a waste.
Right. What color is your blanket?
It's red-ish, red orange. It's a mottled sort of color. Yeah. I could send you. I don't know if I have your phone number, but I can.
Yeah, send me a picture. Yeah. I don't think you have my phone number, but I'll.
No. But we'll do it on the back channel.
Yeah.
And I'll send you a picture. It's coming along. Perfect. I got one and a half. What are they called? The balls, bolts? I don't know.
Skeins
of
yarn.
Of yarn. Is that a skein of yarn?
Skein, SKEIN or IEN.
Okay, a skein of yarn. So I got 1.5 done, and I'm gonna make it 5, wow. and it's 81 stitches across.
Good for you.
And 81 is the number of chapters in the Tao.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Because it's so the significance of 81 is 9 times 9. and 9 is the end of a cycle.
Ah.
So it's like it's right at enlightenment, right at that point of moving to the next
I
thing.
Feel like I'm at the end of a cycle. Really.
Yeah. And you have to get there. And that's the thing. Like, like if we look at 9, you like 7 and 8 are 6, 7, 8 are just like getting over that hill and downhill and beautiful. And like, you're giving your energy out left and right. Burr, 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 and then it's like, burr.
Well.
At some point it's just like, and right. And now you have to, now there's a new order. Now there's a new way to approach it. And then you start that cycle again uphill. And it's like, then you get into, all right, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is getting a little easier. And then, whoa, they back down 7, 8, and then, and it's all cycles. It's all cycles, and they're beautiful. And that's what, that's what 81. That's why 81 verses is. I mean, I don't talk about that much because it's esoteric, but it's like that idea of 9 is, the highest number you can get at before you add a digit.
Right.
11 is still just 1, but it's 1 with a 1 before it. Now it's something, 10 is still just 0, but it's 0 with a 1. It's different now. Now you have 2 digits, or you have 3 digits, or 4 digits, 5 digits. And everyone talks about, I got this many digit salary. It's just like,
oh whoopee.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, well, yeah, there's a big difference, just like, yeah. So all of those sorts of things is, and this time, this is, this is a time of integration. This is a time you have to integrate what has been learned through action, okay. and the world around you is just the manifestation. It's all stupid. You are not. You are special. You are the thing that is growing. And remember, this universe that you've experienced your whole life, you're the only one that knows about it.
That's the truth.
You're the only one. Everyone else is having it from their perspective. You have an entire universe that you're receiving from. And you're receiving from that. A lot of years worth. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of years worth.
A lot of years. And you're connected to it and in every aspect, and so this tiredness, this is beautiful, just as is your volunteering, and that luncheon wasn't worth it.
Oh no. It wasn't.
But you are.
John. I've missed you.
No, I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you too so much. So I'm going to chew on this today and do some meditating and figure out,
Yeah.
well, not figure it out, just wait for whatever's going to happen. I think that's the only thing I can do. I think, being ill was a big factor in me just kind of being blah. I just didn't have any energy to do anything, but I'm coming out of it, and I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. And the world's ready to receive you too.
Oh, goody!
I mean, you might have to make a trip to Michael's and pick up some yarn, but
I have so much yarn.
Okay.
Yeah, this is years and years and years of crocheting. Since I was 14 years old, I've crocheted.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah. One Christmas, I made a full Afghan for everyone I knew.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So
and
anyway,
see,
that's
look at all of your giving. Just, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's different when you give from your time, when you give from your energy, and when you give from your heart.
Right.
I mean, today, and you did this at some point. Like, I mean, crocheting was nice for you probably your whole life, but it's different now. When you were doing your corporate thing back in the day, like it was about horses and it was about big things. It was about conspicuousness.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Conspicuousness. There's not like you are being appreciated, but it's more conspicuous. Like it's more subtle now. Before it was conspicuous.
Yeah.
Because you were conspicuous.
Well, I was being appreciated for the wrong things. I was not happy with what I was doing.
Right. And the people that you appreciate now, they don't know what you know now.
Right.
They don't understand these things. And it's not like oh, that lets them off the hook or anything like that. But really, just buy yourself some flowers.
Okay.
Be appreciated.
I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell Melissa and Max I said hi.
I will when I talk to them. I absolutely will.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too, Martin John.
I'll
talk to you again. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, Melissa's coming up. Melissa, I have a message from Susan for you.
Hey, Martin John. How are you here?
I'm well. Susan says hi.
Now, I had to come up because I was really confused. Like, I kept looking at her name and it said Jan, and I'm like, that's Susan. Why did you say Jan? I'm very confused. But I had to tell her, you guys were talking about flowers, and one day, I can play the victim role. I was having a pity party for me after I broke up with that person whose name I'm just not even going to say right now. But I had talked to my mom. This was before she was really sick and everything, and she told me about a song by Miley Cyrus, and it's called, I don't know if it's called Flowers or Buy Yourself Flowers, but I had to come up and tell Susan that she should listen to that song. And it just talks about, loving yourself, and like, it's okay to buy yourself flowers. Like, I don't need a daggone man to buy me damn flowers. I can buy my own damn flowers, Martin John. Like,
That's
I don't
true.
need anybody to hold my hand. I can hold my own damn hand. It doesn't curse in the song, I don't think. That's just me. I'm feeling a little feisty today, Martin John.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. It's Friday. You're going into the weekend. When's the job fair?
Oh my goodness, it's next Wednesday. And I actually talked to my brother and sister-in-law this morning and told them, look, guys, I need like 3 hours tomorrow so I can get my resume done and like all the things that I need to do to update my portfolio and just like, before I start spinning, because, I can do that.
Help. I would don't discount using AI.
Actually, you know what? My therapist suggested that yesterday. And he said
just write it rough, and then just plug it all in and tell ChatGPT or whoever you want to use or whatever, just like put this together in a way so I can get a job that I want.
Well, he's I guess a lot more techie and like has played around with that, and he said you can actually upload. So he said I could like take my old resume,
Hmm.
upload that, and then say, hey, add
Yep.
this experience and blah blah. And I'm
Yep.
like, oh yeah, I love that idea. So I'm gonna try to see
Yeah.
if I can get it to help me with that and some other things that
And whatever it spits out,
yeah.
take, because that's the thing. It'll be quick. Copy paste it, put it wherever, and then go through it diligently. But all of the kind of stuff will be organized and stuff, because I think too many people, like when they use AI, it's too easy. It's an answer and it's good. But go through it diligently and then make it yours,
Yeah.
because just putting it in, because I work with this yoga studio and we have to to write emails and stuff like that, and I'm like, it's cool if I use AI. I use it, but then I rewrite what they did. It's there. I wouldn't be able to say like I did it, but I write it out as rough as I do, and then it just spits it out, and then I just go through it just word for word, like I read through it all just to make, because there's too many things I think that are done by it, but the whole point is to save you time and the mental weight of like organizing it and doing things like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I love time and organization and stuff not being so, because that's something having, which, I found out as I've been on this journey that I actually had no idea I had ADHD. I'm like, what? No. Like, not only my therapist, but my cousin who's living with me, like they both have said something. Not my therapist isn't living with me, my cousin. But anyway, hopefully that was clear. But like she kept saying something, and I'm like, I don't know. And then when my therapist said something, I'm like, fuck, man, I really got to look at this. Like, maybe I do. And like, I thought I was just like, oh, I'm just a flighty person and I'm just whatever. But it kind of explains why I could like go from one thing to the next thing, and I like
So
have a hard time staying focused. And I'm like, oh, that explains a lot about me that I never knew.
So
But I,
right. Diagnoses are great, but you're a flighty person. That's what we used to say before we had the diagnosis, ADHD.
right.
You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
ADHD did not arrive with the Big Bang.
Yeah,
So it's not,
back in
it's
the
not
70s, they weren't diagnosing kids with
right.
that,
But that doesn't mean that that it didn't necessarily exist. And it probably existed less because our society didn't have screens everywhere, didn't have, we weren't living under the influence of so much data, not influence, but like, just
Information.
things. Yeah, information.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's information and media coming in all the time in all sorts of ways. And that is going to hinder our ability to pay attention. That is going to, and paying attention isn't just like, that's the thing. I think a lot of people think like paying attention is innate. Well, it's not. It's something you have to work at.
Yeah. For sure.
And if it has been beneficial to you to not to be, one thing to the next, and because I know a little bit about your history, and it's good for you. It was safe for you to make sure that you were paying attention to multiple things all the time.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
And
for sure.
like maybe you have this diagnosis, but maybe you cultivated that skill set that doesn't necessarily serve you today because it had served you when you were younger.
Oh, I
So
never thought
whether
about it like that.
whether
So
it's
maybe
a
it was
skill
just like,
set or a diagnosis,
yeah.
like it might be a skill set that you no longer need. Thus, it's a diagnosis.
Mm.
And if it's a skill set that you no longer need, are you going to work at learning other skill sets? Because that's hard.
It is hard. I'm trying so hard to be organized, Martin John. I'm like, I
Right.
want to be organized. I'm like, when I grow up, am I ever going to grow up? Because I should be grown up by now.
But it is all about iteration. What is the next most obvious thing? How can you contribute to your growth in this way? What is the thing that you can do to, like, even, like, I was talking to Susan about, like, crocheting. It's just like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I don't know what I'm working on now that the mosaic's done. And it's like, oh, well, maybe I'll just start learning to crochet. And I kind of picked that out of the ether. I was like, I don't know why. I've never really wanted to do that, but I do appreciate the idea that, like, I love a good blanket. Like, nothing like a good blanket.
Right? Oh man, I wish I was under one right now, but I gotta make some money to pay the daggone bills and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, oh my goodness, that reminds me of very serendipitous. There was a blanket that a colleague had given me, and it had the Serenity Prayer. And a few months ago, my mom had said something to me about you should always have a blanket in your car because you never know if you're in an accident. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So I had left this in my car, and when Mom was at the hospital, they had like these little sheets and she was freezing. So I went and got the blanket. It was in my car. And she woke up and she's like, where did this beautiful blanket, because it has on it. She's like, I don't know where this blanket came from. I'm like, it came from me, Mom. And so
and going back to Tao, everything is accomplished regardless. Your mom years ago told you to keep a blanket in your car. You put a blanket in your car. She was asleep and could use a blanket, and you got the blanket from your car. Like, the idea that in her experience, she set the wheels in motion to receive this thing that she was so grateful for. Think about the feelings and the energy that was created when she woke up and saw the Serenity Prayer on her blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Tao accomplishes things without, like, she didn't plan that, but that was, I mean, I'm going to steer clear of the word planned, but that was magic.
Yeah, I was very pleased that, and then, I mean, I call it serendipity. I didn't know Tao. I mean, I'm learning, you're slowly but surely helping me to broaden my mind and learn these things. But, it was just, very gratifying for me to be able to, and then the nurses were like, oh, it's such a nice blanket, and commenting to her, and she would smile. So, yeah.
That's so good. Let's pick a number.
All right. I'm really torn between two numbers. I can't decide between 62 or 72. Oh, let's go with 72. Let's do 72.
With nothing to teach.
Oh, nothing to teach. Lord help me. Okay. Nothing to teach. What's 62?
Everybody's treasure.
No, let's do that one. 62. Let's do everybody's treasure.
Everybody's treasure.
Yeah. I want some treasure, my friends.
Tao benefits all things. A treasure for those who know, an opportunity for those who don't. To witness one act or speak to gain position, know that they are under the influence of manifestation. Be like Tao and do not abandon them, for knowing Tao is learned by example. Therefore, when a new leader takes office, don't offer words, gifts, or actions. Offer instead to teach them Tao. Why is Tao so universally loved? Because if you acknowledge it or not, Tao is your treasure. Always in harmony. Every mistake forgiven.
Yeah, I definitely needed to hear that one. That was beautiful.
It's tough, like you were saying, you saw that experience with a blanket as serendipity.
Mm-hmm.
An opportunity for those who don't. An opportunity to be in awe, right? An opportunity for you. to kind of be in awe at things that are happening. Now, whether or not you noticed it, whether you noticed that it was serendipitous, right? Whether you noticed that your mom is the one who told you to keep a blanket in your car, so you kept a blanket in your car, and now you get to offer your mom a blanket. Like, her protecting you supported her. Mm. You know what I mean? Now you, whether you, that's why it's like, it's an opportunity for those who don't know Tao. Are you going to be open to the subtlety of the opportunity to see Tao in your life, whether you know it or not? Tao benefits all things. A treasure for those who know. You can see it. Once you know, you can start seeing it. An opportunity for those who don't. You don't know. It's constantly an opportunity for you to wake up to who you are. Now, you don't have to take that opportunity. It is simply an opportunity. There's simply a door that you can walk through if you're willing to. If you're willing to just step back and drop your ego and say, what is the magic here?
I love it. And, you're making me, there was a line and your words just now kind of are making me think my daughter is actually coming to my house today to visit my mom. And, we've been estranged. So sorry, got to breathe for a second. The line about mistakes being forgiven. And the opportunity to just be is something I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Because Tao is working this out. And, I've been praying for a long time, to be able to see her. And maybe, this was Tao working things out to bring her home, I know she's only probably going to be there for a certain amount of time.
Stop it. Just, you don't need to know, you don't need to define. Yeah. She is coming, and that is beautiful. You don't know what that's going to be. You don't have to define it. You don't have to presuppose anything. I'm glad she's coming.
Me too. I'm really glad.
Yeah. Oh, you dropped. Yeah. If you wanted to come back up, you can. Just to wrap it up. Tova, you dropped off as well, but now you came back in. Tova, let me finish with Melissa really quick, and then we'll get to you.
Tova, I'll be real quick. Yeah. I have to. I've been sitting in my car for a minute now.
Oh, okay.
And I need to get to work, but I'm actually here, but I need to go get started. Also wanted to tell you, my niece is coming by and bringing my great niece and my great nephew, who I've never even met before, Mark.
Oh.
I know. So I have a dentist appointment today, which I really don't want to do. But after that, I get rewarded with seeing my niece, my great nephew, and my daughter. So, it takes me back to the Facts of Life song. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Right?
All right. And the dentist visit will just allow you to smile bigger for your family.
I love you so much, Martin John. And you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Susan, love you. Tova, sorry for taking up your time. And I will say goodbye, my friend.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Tova, we're bringing you up now. What was that? It was 62. Oh, yeah, everybody's treasure. That was a good one. Maybe Tova's coming up? Nope. She went away, or he went away, or they went away. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you benefit from any of the work that I do here, please consider checking out my links and Tamara and JK, both K-Bond, like, bad. Thank you. Hey, Tamara, how are you? I'm doing well. Just going through. We had a nice emotional Dow with Melissa.
Yeah, I like listening to Melissa.
Yeah,
I don't know if she knows that. I enjoy when she comes up. So
yeah, it's been great because over the last number of months we've just seen so much growth in so many people. It's been so good.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's funny too because 2 days ago you said something about influence, but you don't want to influence. And I was like, are you influencing me though? And then you weren't there the day before, and I was like, wait a second, you're messing up my whole routine here. Where are you?
Don't live under my influence. I'm telling you, that's not what I want to do.
No, it's all good. No, I mean I'll turn it off and listen to the news, but it's funny
don't
too,
do that.
yeah, I have to. No, but it's interesting too because I have my whole routine in the morning, and then I get going, and then I've got I listen, and then I got all these dead zones, and then this morning because you and I talked on the message, and then I got on your talk, and I was like, that's it, I'm gonna get going, and then I'm gonna talk to you for a little bit. So I passed all my dead zones. So.
Oh, so good, so good. Where are you off to now? Where?
At work, just work.
I don't know what you do. What do you do?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher too. I get all these teachers. What grade and what?
I am preschool, so I work with.
Oh my God! What do you? Is it like Montessori or just regular preschool or?
So it's regular preschool, and it's kind of nice because I've always been fortunate that people let me do what I want to do.
Oh, life is easy.
Yeah, it can be sometimes. So they give me the curriculum, but then they let me change it up the way I want. So I like to add resiliency in there, and I like to do a lot of social emotional stuff. And then I also like to incorporate a lot of art because my major is I'm an art major. So. Oh,
where did you go to school?
I went to St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Oh, okay, wonderful. I don't know the school, but I mean, any art program. Congratulations. You think differently than everybody else.
It's true. Yes.
I mean, actually, you think differently than everybody else except lawyers and scientists because they're problem solvers. They're problem solvers and observers as well. Depending on how you make.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you have a number?
11.
11. That is.
Let's see where it goes.
Emptiness is valuable.
Ooh.
So spokes, tire, rim, and hub all make a wheel, yet it is the space where the axle goes that makes it worthwhile. Clay is formed into a vessel. A vessel's function is to hold things. Thus, its form includes emptiness. A house can be built, but if it were solid, it would be useless. It is easy to see structure, but structure is there to expose the value of emptiness. I just want to talk about your way of teaching. They give you a structure, and then you take that and you bring value to that structure within the structure within the confines of the room and the structure that you have to teach. You are able to connect with those kids through this idea of emptiness, you have all of this room, and because you're creative, because you have that arts background, you work well within limitation. Like every medium has a limitation. And if you can work well within that limitation, then you can get the most out of the medium. If you try and make sculpture and you want to create something that sculpture can't create, well, you're going to have to figure out how to create it within its confines. If you want to make a painting and make it look dimensional, you have to use color, size, design, and all that to make it look dimensional. You know, we've seen art that does cool things by solving those problems of, I have this infinite idea, and yet I have to put it within some sort of a structure.
Right.
So, yeah. So I think that's what this is really kind of talking about. The idea that, like, you as a teacher have limitless potential. And that potential... What's that?
I like that you connected it with the art, because I never really thought about my teaching as an art in the sense that, you know, there's the structure, and then I get to push it and mold it any way I want and change it whenever I want. And
that's your medium.
Right. I never thought of it that way.
Your medium is teaching. And so you're not creating a painting, or you're not creating a sculpture, but you're creating an experience for each and every one of your kids. What is it if not an experience when I step up to a painting or sculpture?
Mm-hmm.
You're art making.
I like that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's why emptiness is valuable. Like, emptiness is like, well, if you have a definition of the word art, now the definition of the word art for some people is going to be small. But if we broaden that and realize that the word has nothing, like, and we see ourselves in it, well, that emptiness of the actual word gets to be everything. That's the value of, like, that is definitely, like, I would see it as art making. Like, I see what I do as art making. You know, like it's and you can even look at it as performance art. If you wanted to, like, really kind of put it in the confines of something. Or have you ever heard of social practice?
No.
It's an art form that really kind of came up in the last 15, 20 years, 25 maybe. You might want to look into it, because that may kind of describe, like, I wouldn't go out and try and write papers about your teaching being a social practice, because I think that then it would be convoluted and silly. But what you're doing in your teaching is aligned. I think that art is dying because people's lives are becoming art forms.
I could see that, yeah.
And then it's going to be like, well, then art isn't important, right? It's not so important that we celebrate the thing. We celebrate the act of art, the act of engagement, the act of experiencing. It's a lot to think about.
It is. I was just kind of thinking that sometimes we forget why we do things, and then we forget the meaning of it. You know, even if you're throwing that paint down, what does it actually mean? If you're mixing it with different materials, what does it mean? You know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that act is enough for a lot of people, but what does it all mean? Does it have to have a meaning? No. But
right.
But there's more value in it if there's meaning.
Like, there's a big question when I talk to artists and stuff. It's like, so what? And it's like, right, so what? And when you can be okay with that question being like, so what? Like, I think you're making good work, because, like, so what? I'm going to make this, and I love making it, and I'm going to engage it. Now, if I want to engage a critical, if I want to engage society in a critical artistic way, I have to align myself with that first and then make. But if I love art And I think everybody does love art in some form.
Yes.
Because I just think it's it's creation, right? Like that's what this is what Tao and religion, all these things have been trying to justify is our creation. And I think creation is something, that's why, I as a man, like I can't have children. And that's something that I worship women because of that. I think women are more powerful than men. And that's why I follow Tao, because Tao is about the feminine. And there's all of this stuff around that, I think creation is the pinnacle. I think that's the thing. I think that, like creating, and that's what it says. Everything is created. A thought is birthed. Like these conversations are birthed. All of this stuff is created, and it's so beautiful. And it's all, and that's why it's like, for me, in my mind, everything is art. Like, ooh, wow. Look at how nature is making this mushroom. Yep. That's art, right? It's like, just keep expanding the definition. And it's like, oh yeah, like my interactions with people, this is art. It's so beautiful.
And it kind of gives that, I don't know how you look at things, but sometimes I ask myself a lot, like, why not? Why can't I?
Yeah, absolutely.
And because that's one thing too, is like art expands across so many things that, I don't know. But there's other things I was going to say too. There's other things that you say that I have enjoyed on this app. Mm-hmm. Now I'm kind of forgetting what you're going to do it till you don't. I love that one.
Yeah.
And then the other one that, what's the one where you say like far out, let's see what happens,
let's see, just kind of being open to receive all of those things and whatever's happening in your life. This is the thing that's happening. I mean, I don't know if there's a certain quote or something that I said, I know you're going to do it until you don't, and recognizing that you don't like that you do a thing, like those go together and stuff like that. So, well, I'm glad. Yeah. This is just my thoughts. These are just my thoughts and my things that I've come across and stuff. And so much of it comes from my addictive background. But so much of that I see in everybody's lives, because we get addicted to so many things. We're under the influence of so much.
But it also depends on how someone takes that influence, and how they use it in a way for themselves that is best.
Right. And as long as it's great to we were all influenced. The question is that what we want to be influenced by? Do we like that we're doing this?
As long as you make that choice for yourself.
As long as there's awareness, because when I was under the influence of drugs and alcohol, I had no awareness. Well, not no awareness, but there was, and once awareness started coming in, and there are many people who are living under the influence of their parents and have no awareness of the fact that life is actually different now. Is that an influence that you want to be living under? Or is that influence, and just simply questioning it, being like, oh, I don't like that I do this. Why do I do it? Because I'm under the influence of this person or this thing or this idea, this religion, this society or whatever. And it's just like, oh, maybe it can be different. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful just to be aware and iterate through questioning, do I like that I'm doing this?
Right.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you go make art. Like, that's so good. I'm so excited for what you're doing.
Yeah. I like it.
That's good.
But thank you. Thank you for the talk. I see I'm down to 30 seconds here.
Oh yeah, but and yeah, JK's in, so we'll talk with her. And good luck today. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and think about all that art making that you're doing.
No, I think it'll help as like things start to transition too, because as the world changes. Yeah. All right. Well, you have a great weekend as well.
I will. Thank you so much, Tamar.
Thanks.
We're going to bring JK up. Hey, JK.
Hey.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, I don't know what I originally wanted to say listening to you.
Quite all right.
You're welcome. I got nothing.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
That's it. Yeah. I got nothing.
I got nothing.
It's days like this. I'm so tired. I'm like,
I was like,
you fucking walking around. I don't know
zombie mode.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you.
Some people have to do substances to be in zombie mode, and I get to do it naturally. So
you get to do that.
I just have to.
Some people pay good money for this.
That's right.
This is like my whole life is a coupon. Well, I'm glad your daughter got admitted, and she's well on her way.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. It's like everybody's like, "Yay, she's in there," but I don't she shared what being in there means, and some of the stuff they go through, and it's not like it is. Yeah, you're gonna come out of the other side, but the pain that she has to endure while she's in there is unreal.
Yeah.
It's unfathomable. So it's always bittersweet.
Yeah,
but I'm glad she's where she's. She wanted to go. That was.
Well,
she
asked. The experience that she has when she wants to go is going to be very different than when she has to go or when she's forced to go.
Oh, 100%.
And
my experience of that is way better. So
yeah.
Sorry, the appreciation. I apologize.
Yeah, no. But the ability for her to appreciate the experience.
Yeah.
Like when I went on my dark retreat, when I came back, a lot of people were like, "Oh, is that like torture?" And I was like, "Well, it is." But the thing is things that are enlightening are often, if you don't want to experience that, are torture for people. So there are things like if you do not want to experience some sort of growth or some sort of, and this is why indigenous people have they send their 13-year-old kids out to fend for themselves for a time, whatever that is. And of course and if you're not ready for it, if you're not, then you're going to be, you're going to be so afraid. It's going to be torturous and you might die, like literally. And it's like, well, you have to be prepared. And if you're prepared, you will go about it in the way that you go about it,
if you're not resistant, I don't know, if you're not resistant to it, because you leave yourself open to a lot more. So this experience, whatever it's going to be for her, and there's a lot of symbolism, even where she is on the floor, and the fact that, I don't know. So when we go in there, everything is the same. For me, everything was, the people were the same, but there were a lot of things that were different in the appearance and the feel of going in. So the experience of it, the manifestation part, changed tremendously for me, to be honest. Right. And she's like, "No, this looks exactly the same." And I said, that's interesting, because she's looking at it differently than I am, which is kind of neat. But the fact that I see it different just speaks to my experience of the whole process of this. But anyway, so I forgot what I was saying. I told you people pay big money for this. Oh, actually, you said that. I don't think I did, but that's the joke.
They do.
I don't remember what I was saying. Sorry.
So, do you want to just jump into a number?
Yeah, just pick a random one.
I'll pick a random one.
But you were talking about the number. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was talking about the numbers. Go on.
Like completely go away.
Yeah.
This is one of those days that, like, I don't know. I could just sit on like somewhere and just laugh.
Yeah,
And
it
these,
seems like you're in a state.
the best part of it is like when I go to work and I try to pretend. It's like when you're caught drunk, like you got to like you walk into your house and you're loaded or stoned or whatever, and you're a teenager, and you walk in and you're like, act
Try to
natural.
maintain. Act
Yeah.
natural. Try to maintain.
Yeah, be cool, be cool. And
Be cool. Be cool. Be cool, Jacqueline. Be cool.
And you're anything but. Like, you're just.
Right.
And I found out, did I ever tell you, I found out years later that, so we used to walk into the house at my aunt's house because I stayed with them for a long time. And we'd walk in the house and that chick used to just accuse us straight up. You were smoking, you were drinking, you were this, you were that, whatever it was. We thought that chick was psychic for years, for decades. We were like, damn, how does she know? She didn't know nothing. And
No,
like,
she didn't know nothing.
I walked in and I'm like, I didn't do none of that. I was like, you've been guessing all these years.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. Excuse my language. All right. Anyway.
No, that's fine. I don't have to keep it clean anymore because I'm not getting anything from Noom. So
yeah, I guess so. Oh boy.
I gotta listen to anybody now.
Uh-oh. Yeah, well,
here we go.
There's always
that's
an
what you
upside.
get. Yeah, no, like it's always it's good, and I love this show. Even under those circumstances, it was good. So, number 22 is what you got. Looking away from what you want.
Okay.
To become complete, know that you're partial. To become straight, know that you're crooked. To become full, know that you're empty. To be new, know that you're worn out. He who wants it all must know what all includes. That's interesting as it relates to your daughter. Thus, the master stays centered in Tao and becomes an example for the world. Because she knows her light is forfeit, people can see it. Because she has no point to prove, people can trust her words. Because she has no identity, she becomes a mirror for others. Because she has nothing to attain, nothing can be kept from her. Thus, when it is said, to become complete, know that you're partial, it is wise to heed and surrender to it. Only by living in collaboration with Tao can one find completion.
Yep.
There are two things about this one that really stand out, and I didn't really realize, maybe I did, but I didn't realize until I'm reading it right now that they're connected, right? It's this, like, he who wants it all must know what all includes. Like, that is a really beautiful line that everybody wants it all, right? But then the idea that, well, you must know what all includes. So you better accept the pain as well as the ecstasy.
Yes.
And then this line, only by living in collaboration with Tao can one find completion. That's another line that sticks out to me in the Tao as a whole. These are, because it's like it's your life, but if you want this life to be easy, if you want to be able to get the most out of everything that you're living, you do that in collaboration. You do that by allowing your life to be a collaboration with what's going on around you. You don't try and dictate and control. You surrender and you, again, not submit. So it's not about submission, but it's about surrendering to this, whatever it happens to be, and living in collaboration. And I love the idea of collaboration. And so, like, this life is presenting you something. What are you going to do with it? It's that's the far out. Like, far out, this is what I'm being presented with. It's kind of like when I was younger, there was this show on TV called Junkyard Wars. And then they had, like, beyond that, they had, like, there are those cooking shows. I don't watch any of those, but they give you certain ingredients that you have to work with. And if you approach that with, like, oh, far out, I get to use this, and this, and then rather than, oh, I'm limited to these ingredients, but it's like, no, this is the collaboration.
Yeah, it's an opportunity.
Yeah, this is the opportunity.
Something fabulous, yeah.
Right. And it's like, that's what this is. That's what I see in that line, right? And it's saying right here in the beginning to become complete, know that you're partial. Like that idea of like, you are complete, and you are complete because you're connected to everything else, because you're connected to Tao, you're connected to JK, you're connected to Melissa and Tamara and Jan or Susan and Julie and stuff, right? You can connect to all those people because they are you too, far out. Like, and this is what I get to experience. And then when I can surrender to that, and then just like you today are going to have to surrender to the idea that like, well, you're tired. That's part of it. That's far out. Like, let's see what I stumble through today.
Well, some of the most, like, honestly, like my kid was a preemie. Like that dude didn't sleep for a year because he had to be fed in the middle of the night. Like he was 3 pounds and on a vent. Like to sustain life, he had to be nurtured in a certain way that involved around the clock care for a long period of time. So like, and what I found about being tired for me, yeah, I'm a goofy and dumb, but some of like a lot of times when I'm like this, I wrote, and I don't know where that shit is now because I threw a lot of stuff out, but like I wrote some beautiful ideas and things like the creation, when you're in that state, when you embrace it, something is birthed. You know, it could be frustration or being pissed off, or you can do create, or like some of the most crazy ideas that I've come up with at work. I mean, talking about doing something very structured, but there's an art to it. Just like you were talking with Tamara, you know, looking at something you have in front of you and how are we going to make this become what I need it to be in this moment?
Right.
And some of these ideas, people are like, you're fucking nuts. And I'm like, yeah, but it'll work, right? And it's usually when I'm like, I don't know, you know, a little kooky, like because
you're always a little kooky, girl. I don't
know. I am. I'm a lot kooky. But it's those moments that if you embrace it's an opportunity. It's like you go out into the woods, you can be pissed off your indigenous dad shoved you in the woods to fend for your life. And you can sit there and you can get eaten by a bear, or you can use everything that's around you as a tool, knowing and having faith that you're being held in that moment, that you have everything you need, whether it's through connection, whether it's through the nature, whatever you got to do. And then you come out the other side. And those are those moments. And I don't know if that my kid's going to see that, you know, but I looked at this whole, I think from probably one of the first times I spoke to you, or maybe later on, for months, I've been doing this stuff with her and her pain and her syndrome and all this. And I recognized, and actually it was through you, because it actually happened after. So I was listening to you, and then she had a reoccurrence because she didn't have the surgery until later on in the summer, I think it was May actually. So I'd been listening to you a little bit. I think I don't remember.
Yeah, time is silly.
Yeah. So she, but I know it was before, and I remember I was able to recognize pretty quickly. I was like, you're doing this again. This is a do-over, like not completely.
No, I get it.
And how you show up is really, you know, this is your chance, because there's a lot of what ifs for me. Like if I did this or if I did that, and I got to approach this from a whole different person. And how beautiful is that? Because I realize now it doesn't matter. However I showed up then, I had to show up that way, right? But I got to learn so much about myself in this process. And even yesterday, you know, the fact that the place was different, I was aware of a lot of nuances, you know, like she's on the left side now of the hall, of the floor, and not the right side, you know, and her behavior. And I was able to shift a little bit and yield. Like when we walked in, she's like, you go first, you do all the talking, you. And I'm like, no, kid, you wanted control, baby. You got it. Like you are in control here. Like it's not me. You wanted to come here. You're of age. I don't have to say nothing.
Right.
and I didn't. Like, I told you, I went and took a little walk.
Yeah, no,
And
good
when
for
I
you.
came back, she had everything. She had all the
Rolling.
papers signed. Yeah, she was doing it. And then it was like, oh, this lady's coming. Can you go get my luggage?
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Play the bellhop. You're all good.
I played the bellhop and I was happy doing it.
Yeah.
But
you've done so good with her.
I was happy. I was good.
I'm good. Bye-bye. And that's another collaboration, right? Like, Tao is giving you your daughter as part of your collaboration, as part of your gift of life. And all of her problems you get to experience, and those experiences are yours. How beautiful is that? Like, this is all like, and life is a gift from Tao to her. And you are being sustained in support of that gift. You are being sustained in your bellhop duties and your strength to carry her bags and all of that. just for that. It's not just you. That's the thing. Like, understand that, yes, it's just you, but it's not just you. How beautiful. And profound and all of the things. But it just is. It's not like, like I was talking with Melissa earlier with her daughter coming. She's like, how she can only stay for a short while, all of this. And it's like, oh, shut up. No, you don't have to tell the story. She's coming. You're happy she's coming. Stop there. Pick up a coffee cake and like enjoy it together. And if she wants to leave, she can leave. She's going to do what she wants to do. You do what you want to do, and just enjoy this far out adventure. It's so great. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you benefit from this, please consider checking out my links and buying me a coffee, doing whatever you can to support me in this. I will see you on Monday, 6 a.m. Central Time. I'm here doing Tao of the Day, 6 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, for the foreseeable future. And if that's going to change, you'll hear from me well in advance. And thank you so much for joining me. This is Martin John. If you the links and stuff, you can pick up a copy of my Tao as well, if that's something that you're interested in. Thank you all for joining me. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.